Hey everyone, Keith here with Calf Canyon Ranch BMW i8 Salvage Project, and this video is how to make a cable emergency release for the rear hatch and the gas cap. Now I've done the rear hatch one and I know it works fine. The gas cap one will be an experiment, but let me show you what I did and how you can do it yourself, and I think it's fairly simplistic. So here's what I got. So the issue comes up that sometimes the electronic release won't let go for the rear hatch, and there's really no way into that compartment without disassembling the rear bumper of the car, going in through the vents to access the cable inside. So here's what I've done. I've gone to my local hardware store. For me, it was Home Depot. I got these little ferrule kits, and I got several feet of the stainless steel 16th inch cable. I cut off about 3 feet, and my plan was to access the release inside and run the cable out of the car to a hidden spot in the fender well where it would be easy to get to. Now, I know one of our i8 Facebook members had actually done the same thing and run it down and through and out by the license plate. And I think that required disassembling some of the rear bumper. Now, my car, of course, is disassembled, but I think with my idea in mind, you can do it with less effort. So first, let's go into the trunk and take a look. What you're gonna wanna do is remove this panel. This is the little trim access panel. It's held in place with 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're a T25, and then a little body clip right here in the middle. So you just slide that out and you pop that clip off. It is clipped into place on each side as well, so you'll have to give it a little pop once you get it off. So once you take this body panel off, you can have a look at the latch. Now the latch looks fairly complicated to access, so here's what I did. I accessed the factory emergency release. You pop it off its little peg, pull it out, and you can see that if you release this little tab, you can slide that little ferrule out that's in there. See how that's a little, it's kind of, you can move that. You just use a little screwdriver to pull it back. You can get that ferrule out. And that releases the cable. So what I did was, with my 16-inch cable, I made a small loop at one end, very small, tiny loop at one end, used the little ferrule nuts and made a loop. And what I did was, after I released that emergency brake cable, I ran my little small loop. It's hard for me to get my hand in here to show you, but I'm gonna do my best. So this is the cable that goes to the lock, and it goes out to the emergency release right there. So what I did was I made this small little loop. I hope you can see that. You can see there's the ferrule, there's the little loop. And once I got the ferrule released off of that little plastic handle, I simply ran it through the loop and hooked it back to the handle. Now the handle's a fixed point, the rest of the cable's a fixed point. So if this cable is pulled on, it pulls on the actual release cable itself and activates the mechanism. Now from there, you got to get that cable to the outside of the car where you can get to it when this thing is stuck in place. So what you can do is, through this little access panel here, you can go in here and you can drill a hole that will go right out to the inside of the fender of the car. Now my car was disassembled, so I made my hole up nice and high, but you could drill a hole anywhere in this area from inside that little cavity. That gives you access to your inner fender area. Now you can see my fender is off, but if the felt inner fender was in place, you could take the tire off, remove a couple of screws, pull that inner fender down, and that's gonna give you access into there where your cable will come out. Now you can see my cable right here. So then what I intend to do, this little piece of cardboard is my simulated felt inner fender. Drill a little 1/8 inch hole here, an 1/8 inch hole here. They're maybe 1 1/4 inch apart. Cut a little triangle, and then loop your cable up and over that little triangle, sit in those little 1/8 inch holes, nice and flat, out of the way, hidden up inside the felt of the fender well. And then if you need, and I'll show you what it looks like from the back side. See, I just made another little loop with the ferrule nuts, big enough I can get a couple of fingers in there if I need to give it a good tug. So the idea is your car's all together. This piece is hidden in the fender well. It goes through your hole, comes up in, and loops around the emergency release cable. Say you have a problem, you can reach in your inner fender well, you can grab that little piece, give it a pull. Now your inner fender well will be bolted into place nicely, so you'll be able to pull that cable out to where you have access to it, like this. You can give it a pull, and it will release the latch inside. I'll show you how this works. So we're closed down. Oh no, electronically it won't release. What do? I release my little cable from the little triangle there. I give it a pull. You hear it release, and now it opens. One of the other nice things is with the release here, it gives you a close enough distance that you can actually put a little palm pressure on the hatch or the glass to release some of that lock mechanism pressure, and it allows that cable to be pulled very easily to release the latch. That's what I've done for the rear hatch. I intend to do the same thing for the gas cap. Now, we know that sometimes the gas cap sticks, and there's a great tech article by Pat Freeman out there. If you're not subscribed to Pat's Garage, I don't think you own an i8, because everyone is. He's the authority. But we all know the gas cap sometimes won't release, and there's a little rod that pulls this way. So I plan on making a little cable that goes from that rod to the inner fender well on this side with the same little triangle to kind of keep it held into place. And I'm hoping that if there's a problem with that release, that same theory will work over here. That's why I have the extra cable. So I hope that helps. If you got questions, let me know. Take care.